Hey folks, I thought I'd show just a quick video on what I ended up doing to get my iPad mini 6 mounted in on my yoke here. You can see I had an old RAM mount for the 10-inch iPad, and I was switching down to the mini when I upgraded. And you'll see the size of the 10-inch, worked really well. This is a Piper. It worked really well for where it went, but it was pretty big. It would cover up quite a bit, and you can see when I'm holding the yokes, it's kind of in the way a little bit as you're flying along and looking at things. Not bad overall, but just a little large, and that's why I ended up trying out the new iPad Mini 6. The problem was there aren't any RAM mounts like this mount with the clip on the end, and you slide in the iPad Mini into it. They haven't made this mount yet for the iPad Mini. Given all supply chain issues, I get it. It's probably coming along, and it's just taking time. And RAM here is not the only one having this problem. If you go with any of the other type of mounts, you'll find that it's actually fairly hard to find a mount for an iPad Mini. So I'll show you what I did, and then I'm going to go up do a flight, and then we can see what it looks like in flight. So hang in there. Hey folks, so here's the new mount that I'm using for my iPad Mini. You notice it's a spring-based mount, and you can get a number of these. I'll put a link to the one that I bought. I don't think it really is going to matter too much which one you're going to get, but this one worked out for me. So the issue with doing the Mini, even on this one, is when the Mini's in landscape mode, it's going to be too loose in here, so it's just a little narrow. So what I ended up doing for my Mini, which I ended up liking, was I got a case for it. And the nice thing, of course, about the case is it's going to protect it. And then, as you know, with the Mini, it's got the Pencil 2 that'll work with it, and it'll charge when it's sitting in that tab. So now it's really easy just to pop in the Mini and have it in the holder there. And as you can see, it's actually in there quite well. It's not gonna pop out or do something weird like that. The one thing with this particular case, and I don't know how the others are, is the way you get the pencil out is through a little hole back in here. So obviously you can't get the pencil out when it's in the holder like this. I'm not sure how much I'm going to end up using the pencil, but you're really not going to if you do it in this, because it's going to be quite difficult to get out of there. However, when I put it in portrait mode, you'll notice then that I can actually pop out the pencil quite easily and use it to do notes or whatever I might want to do. Let's see if I can unlock it from this way. Anyways, as you guys all know, the unlock button's up there, and normally it's not going to be locked in flight. At any rate, so I think I'm going to end up liking this portrait mode, and as you can see, it's got a good angle to it from allowing me to see my instruments pretty easily without blocking them. And that was part of the issue with having a bigger iPad there. It blocks the entire scene, whereas this one doesn't. And as you can see, this is just using the standard RAM mount that I had left over from that RAM mount that I had on there, and so it's using the same 1-inch socket to hold it in there. So this particular configuration works really well still for my plane. So again, Piper Cherokee, and it's gonna hold up well, I think, again, from just kind of being mounted and being out of the way. And again, the ability to just have the yoke free and clear is pretty nice. And it has good clearance here, so it's not going to really bump into your legs. So as you're flying, you can see, actually, let me get on this side, you can see as you're flying, it's not going to come down and run into you.
So we're going to head up to show you what's going on here with the new iPad mount and see how it works out here. We're clear on final and clear downwind, and we're clear on the runway. Thinking of that guy coming downwind here. So we're lined up on 02, 02, 02. All right, airspeed's alive. Instruments are in the green, and we're away. All right, so you can see, again, the iPad's in a really nice location here. So I get a really good view of it here. The reason I didn't want to mount it up here is that I don't actually get visibility at this portion of my windshield. So when I'm nose up, this is the Limburg reference that people refer to, and so it's a way of seeing where you're at. So if I put my iPad there, I'm not going to actually get that Limburg reference. So I didn't want to mount my iPad particularly there. I actually had it on this yoke for quite a bit of time, which is actually a good choice also. Yeah, but I tend to like it, have it right in front of me so I can see what to mess with it without having to turn and look away to the other side. So as I mentioned, one of the things that was attracted to me for this clamp type thing is I've got my case now, so I get the iPad mini mounted where, it's got some protection around it, and it holds the pencil in. So I actually lost the pencil on my larger iPad 10-inch, and who knows where it went, because it was, there was really no good place to keep that pencil on the old version. They might have had some type of cases like this, but it wouldn't have charged it while it's going. Again, the downside of this clamp with this case is you can't get the pencil out. So in that case, if we're wanting to look at it in a portrait mode, then I actually can, of course, get the pencil out. I still think it's a little fiddly for, taking notes when you're flying. So we got a plane coming in here. I don't know if you can see him coming across, but he's going to be no factor. He's quite a bit of, 2,700 feet above us. So we'll keep an eye out for him, but he's 2 miles out, so it's not going to be that big a deal. The GNX actually took him off because he's gone quite a bit faster than me, quite a bit higher. Anyways, barring those distractions, I'm not sure how useful the pencil is going to be for taking notes. The nice thing about it is I can do that if I need to learn. But I've got my knee board still here, which is the good old paper pencil or pen going on, so I can always have this going without mounting the iPad to my knee board. I tried a knee board out. I don't know if you can see, but the knee board comes back in. So with the knee board mount, it actually did interfere with the yoke hitting it down here. So I didn't like the knee board mounts for the iPads. I thought they were very difficult to use, and I had that one that tilts up, so it made it even worse because it tilted up into the yoke. So I'm not sure how that was ever supposed to work, but my recommendation is don't get one of the knee board iPad mounts. Not where you're comfortable up here. Also, you're keeping your visibility higher up, so you're not looking up and down, so you won't get, not that you won't get it, but you won't be as prone to spatial disorientation if you're not looking down than suddenly looking up. So I like having stuff kind of up here. You can see I have my checklist sitting up here, and that way I'm always part of my vision's always out in front of me looking what's going on. So I particularly like that. Your choice on how you like to fly and all of that. But anyway, so that's the pencil mount. And like I said, you can see it goes right back in, starts charging right away, which is pretty nice. So the vertical mount, I do like the vertical mount too. It does give me kind of visibility. And when I go into, the I can't remember the name of this view, but anyway, so if I go into this view, then you can see I got a very nice view of what's going on up front. It's almost like having the full glass cockpit, right? Along with the HSI in it. Now, I'm never going to use this for navigation, but if I'm flying in train, and maybe we'll go back and do a little example of this, you'll actually see the train show up. So, or just awareness rather than anything else. And just a nice view. But of course, that's interesting. I lost attitude information. So this attitude information is coming off of my GNX 375, not off the GPS and sensors within the iPad. Anyway, you can see that we're coming up on an ILA. We're 8 miles from it. So we'll make a turn coming up here. What else to tell you? Again, one of the nice things about this, you can take it off real easy, switch it around, even when you're in flight. So there's not a lot of issues with it being kind of mounted in there and not being able to get to it. So pretty nice. And it holds it, you can see it's holding it in there pretty solid. When I'm flying around, it's not going to kick out. So this spring attachment is pretty good. This is just one. And just so you guys know, I picked the cheapest one because I might like to have a better mount later on. We'll see how they come out. I'm thinking I'm not going to go back to that RAM mount where you take off the case and you have to have it sitting in there. But there's a couple of other options out there, as you guys well aware. It's just right now, January 22, there are not a lot of options for mounting an iPad Mini 6 in a cockpit. This to me really gets me there. So I'm pretty set with how this looks. So I kind of dig in the portrait view of this thing. So I'm going to leave it in portrait view for the rest of the flight.